Welcome, everyone, to the Side Draft Podcast. Today we're talking about the Final Four, the Big Four, and before we talk about that, we're going to talk about the ISM Raceway race, the Can-Am 500. Very short race, but a lot happened in that small bit of time. To start off the weekend, Kevin Harvick wins the pole, trying to put a statement out there for a lot of people on Twitter, the NASCAR officials, and just everyone around the sport, because they deemed that his Texas win was a L1 penalty, just because the spoiler was off just a little bit. And really, I think that was a bit of an extreme penalty, but it caused a great outcome of a race.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy over that, but Harvick and 14, they just want to put that behind them and go and focus on the Phoenix race.
And Harvick would win the pole, and then he would go on to win or lead a couple stages, not stages, the laps. I'm all over the place right now. He would lead over 75 laps, somewhere around there, a lot of laps. But on like 2 to go, his tire just gave out, blows up, and his day is really hampered there because he's going to be a lap down coming to the next stage. And one of the guys he's battling to be in the championship for is Chase Elliott, and he would go on to win the stage.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Harvick. I don't think he really blistered a tire. I believe he just ran over something because, it seemed like a couple people said they cut a tire somehow. So
a lot of people were blowing tires, and I don't know what was causing it. If it was just something with the racing groove, maybe the Xfinity Series did something to the racetrack and made it like that. I don't know. It's just really crazy to see all those blown tires out there. But stage one would end pretty quickly. It was Harvick versus Chase, and then the tire ends up blowing. And Harvick's stage one's 10 stage points were on the line, and he ended up getting none of those.
Yeah, unfortunately, he didn't have any.
So now he's already in the hole. Stage two would begin. Chase would lead off pit road. It looked to be his day after that. He seemed to be really strong on, just a little bit slower than Harvick before the issue on the tire. But Kurt Busch was just out of nowhere, takes the lead from Chase. And Kurt Busch would now be the favorite going into the Final Four.
Yeah, Kurt's like, hey, Kevin Harvick's lap down. I better pick it up a little bit.
So Harvick was the lap down until Joe Logano would spin. It seemed like Logano won and Harvick in the Final Four maybe, and just the same issue. Joe Logano blew a tire and went to the wall.
Yeah, Kevin, he cut the right front, and fortunately he got to the pit road, but Joe Logano, he blew a right rear and it spun around and got to the wall, and that just ended his day.
And since Harvick was the free pass, he would be gifted a lap. And then during that caution, we had Kenseth and Suarez make a little bit of contact there. And Kenseth's car would dramatically fall off the pace, but he would end up finishing in the top 10. So really cool for Kenseth.
Yeah, it's really good to see Kenseth running in the top 10 and having a good run.
Especially in a car that doesn't necessarily have that much funding nowadays, but did an awesome job finishing in the top 10. And it would be Kurt versus Chase on the restart. Kurt would take off while Brad Keselowski would pass Chase Elliott in the Christmas colors.
Yeah, Brad had a really fast car. He could really take off and run the leader down, but he never could get in that leader position.
Yeah, Brad's car was as fast as how fast Christmas is approaching. Just right around the corner. The 14 would go into the wall, and his championship is done. There is no way he could fix it. Another tire issue doesn't seem to be good for the Fords right now. Just something, maybe a miss on suspension or something that just went crazy.
Yeah, I ain't sure if something coming down on the apron of the field or what it is. I don't think anybody really could figure that out. What was causing the tires to blow out like that?
78, the 24, and the 4 would all stay out while the leaders would pit. That would be really big for Harvick. And also the 78. I mean, he's not like in a stressful situation, but if he gets mired back in the field, and let's just say, you know, his car was, I don't want to say terrible, but it was not great.
It was pretty much junk. I mean, he went running like from 12th to 14th, and you couldn't really do a whole lot in between there. But the pit strategy, it kind of got him up in the top 5 or so.
And then this is one of the biggest things that's happened so far in this race. The penalty for Kurt Busch for passing the pace car, which is a 1-lap penalty.
Yeah, that's a huge mistake right there. And, you know, you going down to pit road, you want to gun it a little bit, try to get some space in between you and the second place car. But unfortunately, you can't pass the pace car, and, you know, sometimes it's hard to judge that.
Yeah, I just don't think he was well informed about that rule. Maybe, you know, they had to gone over it at the driver's meeting. Maybe it's just something that just slipped his mind, didn't really think about it until they told him. But the 18 would take the lead from the 78 on that restart. Kyle Busch will win the stage. The 4 car will get some points over the 9 and, more importantly, the 41, because it got some major stage points over him. Stage 3, the 18 would stay out. The 9 would take 2 tires. Kyle Busch would lead, while after a long run there, Kyle Busch would be in the lead, and then Chase Elliott's car had a awesome long run speed, would eventually get around the 18, while the 18 would go down pit road. And then there would be a caution, which would trap the 4 car and the 18 a lap down after that, which would give a huge advantage to Chase Elliott. We had, I believe it was the 16 or 66, some sort of car, lap car that just spun around trying to get into the pits and really missed it.
Yep.
And Chase Elliott seemed to have a major advantage over Harvick now, but something you can't do in these situations, which somehow always happens when there's playoffs on the line. Chase Elliott speeding too fast on pit road, and, you know, his day wouldn't be done, but you'd have to climb up just like Kurt Busch had to do and Kevin Harvick had to do. So all 3 of them just had not had a good day, even though they're all great at this racetrack.
Yeah, it seems like their nerves is really getting to them right now because it's like they're all having issues. It's like, man, what's happening here? So, you know, it's unfortunate for Chase, and so, like, you know, you come down to the third stage, something always happens on pit road.
And then on that restart, Ryan Blaney would have some issues. He would have to go to the garage and spilled some fluid on pit road, and the 4 crew and the 12 crew trying to wipe all that up. Maybe that could be a factor in some pit stops.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was overheating. It said something about he just run out of water or something, so may have overcooked the engine a little bit.
So we had, now Kurt Busch got his lap back after all of that. That would be the 4 versus the 41 versus the 9. And during that, the 38 would just get in the way of Harvick. Harvick's, you know, he's focused on the 41. The 38 just slowing as a lap car. And, you know, you just don't want to get in the way. But, you know, sometimes those things happen. The 4 makes contact with him. The 38 would spin around.
Yeah, the 4 and 41 and 18, they're really fast cars back there. And they're coming through the field. And Kevin, he just come up on the 38 real fast and didn't expect it to get that so slow in the turns. And just he couldn't let off because the 18 was right behind him. So he just ended up spinning him out.
Yeah, and you know, your lap car, I would understand if that was the leaders, you know, trying to get your lap back or trying to stay in the lead lap, but, you know, he was far away from the leaders at that point, so I would just, you know, try my best and not get in the way. But that unfortunately happened for the 38. He had, a decent day. And the intense battle with the 4 and 41 would continue until Stenhouse hardened the wall. He was just on fire. Yeah, another flat tire and another Ford with a tire issue.
Yeah, it's unusual for all the Fords to be blowing tires, and it took he took a hard hit in the wall and just a lot of flames and stuff. And
Kurt Busch would stay out on the racetrack after that caution. Everyone else would come down, take two. I believe Denny Hamlin stayed out. And on the restart, Larson would lead off pit road from the cars that pitted. Hamlin would also stay out, like I said. Eric Jones was another one that stayed out. He would be the leader. And then on the restart, we had a huge crash. The 11 got loose, got to the 41. 41 spun, hit the 9. It was just like they wanted to take those two out. It was like Harvick used the force or something to get those guys out. And, Harvick just made his way through cleanly. And Kyle Busch was ultimately the winner from that.
Yes, it's unfortunate for the 41. He got kind of pinned up there on for the 11, just got loose, slid up the track, and it's just one of the things when you just don't get tires, try to stay out, and now just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and pretty much end his chances for the championship.
Yeah, and then, after that huge crash, the 41, the 9, they could try to get it fixed up, but it's just not going to be enough. The 4s, he is unscathed. There's no way that they can make up the track position, especially with cars that look like wheeling modifieds out there. But
yeah, Harvick's probably like, I can breathe now.
And then he thought, oh no, Almirola's up here too. And Almirola tried his best to get the win. It's just, he was not as great as the 18 or the 2 there. And,
yeah, the 2 had a lot fresher tires than a lot of the front runners.
Kyle Busch would take the lead from there on out. Alex Bowman would be the next caution. He was literally on fire out there. A true showman, I would say.
Yeah, he got caught up in that last crash and just might have cut a fuel line or whatever it was and just went up in flames.
Yeah, his whole day is up in smoke now. Restart, it would be Harvick on the outside, Kyle Busch on the inside, and the inside lane was just really great. Kyle Busch got up to a great lead. Almirola right there. A lot of people were saying, if you're Kyle Busch, let Eric Almirola go. Take Harvick out of the championship talk. Eric Almirola is not normally one that is super strong at mile and halves, but ultimately that would have been the wrong call because the 2 car would have still passed him and the 2 car would have won if Kyle Busch would have done that. So,
yeah, I mean, any race car driver's gonna be out there. Let's go for the win. Ain't nobody gonna lay over. I'm gonna let you win, but try to get Harvick out of the playoffs would be good for certain ones, but then again, if you got Harvick in there and then you beat him, then like I'll beat the best.
It's a true championship at that point. Yeah, I think it's really great because now we're gonna have the 2 best drivers of all year duking it out at Homestead.
The ones that's won most of the races this year. All right, who's gonna win this race? So, and we got 3 former champions going for the championship.
Really, they talked about the big 3 all year, but it's really been the big 2. Harvick and Kyle Busch have been the best. You look at the other member of the big 3, Martin Truex. He's only won half of what the other big 3 has done.
Yeah.
So, like I believe Harvick and Kyle Busch are now tied with 8 wins overall. Mm-hmm. So, really impressive season for both of them, and it would have been a shame if either one would have been eliminated.
Yeah, it's really unheard of having 2 drivers winning 8 races in a single year.
Yeah, they've won almost half the races combined together. Caution will be out for the 97 of Terry Berry Hill. You know, it was unfortunate for Eric Almirola because I believe that he would be put in a situation where he didn't have as much freedom on the restart, couldn't do as much. His car seemed to be really loose. Kyle Busch would take the lead. Brad Keselowski looked to be the fastest car. He's trying to win in the Christmas car. Would have been really interesting to see a Christmas car win a race. I don't think that's ever happened. But he ended up messing one little corner up, and it ruined his chance to win. Kyle Busch cruises on. Would have went to the Final Four anyway, but the momentum that this creates for Homestead is crazy.
Yeah, Brad was catching a 10th every lap, and once he got that one turn, I don't know if he got loose, tight, or what it was, but he lost a ton right there, and then it took him a lap or two to really get his groove, his rhythm going again, and he come within 4/10 at the line, at the finish line.
Yeah, just maybe 5 more laps. I think we could have had a amazing race for the win there.
And just think, it's a good thing that Brad's not in this championship, because he comes on strong at the end of the race.
Put on some good races so far. He did great at Martinsville. Can't remember where he finished at Texas, but I think he did pretty okay. And then at Phoenix, finished second. So if he would have been in, he would have been going to Miami right now. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure he would have won Martinsville if he would have been in the championship 8. So now that we conclude ISM Raceway / Phoenix, it will always be Phoenix to me, but legally it's ISM. But and now we're talking about Miami, the championship 4.
Before we go to that, let's give a big shout out to Bubba Wallace for finishing 10th. It's good to see that team get a top 10.
And also shout out to William Byron winning Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, he had a good run today and got caused some damage and still finished 9th. So maybe he'll have a better year next year.
Yeah, so we'll see what he can do with that momentum. We'll have that new rules package. Maybe he can use that to his advantage and get a few wins. So championship 4 next week. Who you going with?
That's kind of hard to say. Probably Kevin was going to probably win the championship. It's pretty much hard to say that they're going to win a championship without winning a race. But I may just throw it out there. I may say Chase Elliott win the race.
Wow. So you're going with Harvick championship, Chase Elliott with the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the championship driver will win the race. It's Joey Logano. I think Logano. He's been saying that he was the favorite. I don't think he's the favorite speed wise, but his pit crew is awesome. I think we're going to have a restart very late. They're going to have to all go down pit road. Joey Logano gets out first and wins the championship. But I'm also going to make a prediction of who wins the pole. It's going to be Chase Elliott. Because, I've seen this throughout all the years in NASCAR that they've started this format. Whoever barely makes it out, or whoever barely gets out of the playoffs, wins the pole. We saw Denny Hamlin win the pole last year. Kevin Harvick in 2016. It's just been tradition. I believe Chase Elliott goes out and wins the pole.
Well, we got some bold selections right there.
Yeah. And if my pick for the pole and your pick for the race, we might just be the ultimate pickers for Chase Elliott.
Maybe so.
But if Chase Elliott ends up winning the race, how sick would you be? Just that close.
Yeah, it might be a good chance for Joey to go for the championship since Carl Edwards is not going to be in it.
Yeah. But Truex said that Joe Logano wasn't going to win the dang war. So,
well, it's going to be tough for Joey to. I believe Joey probably could do it. I don't know how much Eric Almirola is going to stop him doing that, or the 78.
Yeah, I believe that Kevin Harvick is the favorite really going into this. He has the most speed. I believe Tony Gibson and Rodney Childers, they had that mash up there with how the penalty shook them up there, but I think they'll rebound from all that and win the championship. Maybe. But Kyle Busch could also win the championship by, being Kyle Busch. We saw, today at Phoenix. Didn't have the best car, but, worked on it all day, made some bold strategies, and I believe that's how Kyle Busch could win the championship. Joe Logano, I've already said, how he could win the championship by pit crew and just being consistent. But Martin Truex Jr., I don't know how he can win.
I'm not sure. He really hasn't showed up lately.
I mean,
he's went for the Roval. He's leading in the last lap and gets spun around, and then he's going at Martinsville and just didn't fight hard enough for that, and you really didn't see him much at Texas, and really here at Phoenix, he didn't really show a lot of speed or strength. He just got up the top 10 through pit strategy.
But if I were to make a scenario how Truex can win the championship, it would be bring back some 2017 speed. You're going. This is your last chance to win a race for your team. I believe this would be the first time knowing that the team's shutting down if he would win the race. So
yeah, sometimes Martin's he's not always great, but he's always lucky.
Yeah, so maybe some luck will get on his side. We've seen the 4 car through some of these mile and a halves has some tire issues, pit road issues. We've seen the 18 have those issues as well. And Joe Logano, if he has like a race like Phoenix, maybe he could get some luck on his side. Let Truex easily get a championship.
Yeah, sometimes it ain't where if you're good or not, it's just being lucky.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of this championship. I believe all 4 drivers are, they all deserve this championship. We don't have one that's like just randomly there. The closest to that is the 78, but maybe they can show up for one final time. They didn't really show up.
This could be a very tight battle for the championship.
Didn't really show up on the past mile and a half races besides Las Vegas. So if they can bring out Las Vegas speed, I could see them win the championship. But we'll just have to see, and we won't know until the checker flag waves. The other issue is we won't know until Wednesday if this is the Final 4 or not, because R&D and all that crap. So
yeah, I can shake a lot of things up, and then who knows?
I was really hoping that they would be doing R&D there at the track. Make sure that this Final 4 is the official Final 4 before we go and do all of this talk about the Final 4. We say, the 22 is going to win. Oh, the 4 is going to win. Oh, the 18 is going to win. Then we find out the 18 and the 4 is not even eligible because the R&D had, something off by a smidge. So that's going to be really frustrating, mostly because Tuesday they're going to be going to New York, doing all the media center or media day stuff, all the talk shows that they'll go on. And then the next day, none of that matters because one little thing was wrong.
Well, what if, like in Homestead comes and they do the same thing after that? Then will they change the outcome of the race? Who wins the race, the championship, or what? There's a lot of questions up in the air.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because like the 4 car had those tire issues. Could have maybe had some suspension damage from that. Didn't really seem that he did, but could that fail inspection? Then with the 18, he had some right front or right left damage on there.
Where you got into hard
front left. I'm all confused right now, but he had some damage somewhere on the car, and those things could take you out of the Final 4, and it would be just stupid.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard for him to go to the R&D center and while you failed inspection. Well, I got into a little bump up. Harvick got into the 38. may have a little damage from it, and the 18 got into Harvick at the same time. That's where he got some of the damage, and who knows?
I hope everything's clear and these 4 is the 4 that goes on. But if not, it's going to be really disappointing because, it's going to really be a slap in the face to NASCAR as a whole because, Homestead, it's not quite like the Daytona 500 where everyone watches it. But, there's going to be a lot of new faces watching that race because, this is like the Super Bowl of NASCAR. It's like the second Super Bowl, I should say, because of the Daytona 500. But, that would be just a slap in the face.
Yeah, I think these 4 here are the 4 top teams in NASCAR right now. So, the best 4 is going for the championship.
But we'll find out Wednesday, which we're going to do a Wednesday podcast. So if any changes happen, but let's all pray that it doesn't. We'll be able to talk about it. But Chase Elliott would be in that seat to move on to take a place.
Yeah, maybe he's gonna pray really hard until the end.
He's gonna go to R&D and smash Kyle Busch's car. Which I think Kyle may have enough points to where it wouldn't matter. So I'm not entirely sure. But we'll just find out. But Texas may have been just a random anomaly, and all 3 cars that went to R&D Center all failed. If that happens again, we're in for a wild ride. But anyway, these 4 maybe are your final 4. So that was this week's podcast. We'll see you Wednesday. We're going to talk a little bit more about maybe some media stuff that went on. Maybe we'll talk some changes if any in the final 4. But we'll see you next time for our final podcast race review of the year. We'll see you then.